situation over the 12 years that I've been here entertaining you on television. Welcome to Hot Topics, Sharina Hudson. Getting out of my car with my money. Good morning, Journey. She'll be almost I think she'll be 3 next month, don't you know? Good morning, Kelvin. It's my truth.
Okay, honey, so Sharina Hudson finally woke up and realized she was chasing after the wrong man this entire time when she decided to mess with Kevin Hunter. And let me tell you something, it was no secret, like absolutely none, that Kevin and Sharina were literally planning to shack up together spending Wendy's coins. And they didn't lose a single night of sleep over it either.
So I'm not gonna take a lot of time because, you know, I'm getting emotional. And I told myself I wasn't gonna do this.
But honey, ever since Wendy walked away from the Wendy Williams show and ended up stuck in that tragic guardianship situation, Kevin's pockets have been dry, okay? He's been filing lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, pulling out every single scheme he could think of just to get Wendy to bankroll his life again. But chilly, after his most recent lawsuit got tossed straight out of court, word on the street is that Kevin has packed up and left Sharina high and dry, just like he did to Wendy. And listen, y'all, nobody had a clue where Sharina even was. While Kevin was out here dragging all these lawsuits through the system, she shut down her Instagram and disappeared into thin AIR. And now we're finally about to find out where she's been laying low all these months.
That it was not till death do us part.
And it wasn't just an incident. I mean, the relationship that Kevin had with this woman went on for...
No. Kevin was a serial cheater. Kevin had different mistresses depending on, you know, the part of his life. This last one was the one that he had the longest term relationship.
Now, as y'all already know, Wendy has been going through absolute hell, and she's been fighting tooth and nail to break free from this guardianship that she never even needed or wanted in the first place. After a fresh assessment came out and confirmed that Wendy was never sick and she never had dementia, which was the whole entire reason they had her under this iron-tight guardianship for over 3 whole years. It's looking like everybody from the judge to her former manager to her doctor to Wells Fargo, all the way down to that guardian Sabrina Morrissey, were all working together in perfect harmony to make damn sure Wendy couldn't touch her own money. And you know what, baby? Karma is coming for every last one of them.
Death to all of them.
And with all this new tea spilling out into the open, Wendy might finally be able to shut down this exploitative guardianship once and for all and leave this whole nightmare in the rearview mirror for herself and everybody else. But hold up, that doesn't mean she's about to slide back into her prime time throne or clock in for work anytime soon. And listen, Wendy not working anymore, that affected everybody. I'm talking about it hit everyone, even the people who straight up can't stand her. And yes, honey, I'm absolutely talking about Kevin Hunter and his little side piece, Sharina.
Kevin had gone to LA for business. And I hired a PI. Yes, I did. I hired a PI to follow my husband. And this guy is telling me that Kevin is in Miami with the girl. This is where you show the picture of them on the beach. You know the picture where she's going to the camera and he's laying there on the cell phone like they're chilling like a couple. You understand what I'm saying? The PI was taking pictures of them going to the gym, going to dinner, her with Gucci, Poochie, and Lucci.
When Wendy walked away from the Wendy Williams show, she lost a massive amount of income. And because of that little detail, Kevin couldn't get his hands on a single dime of alimony because there was a specific clause buried in their divorce decree that said if Wendy's contract got suspended or didn't get renewed, she would not be responsible for paying him a red cent in alimony. Now listen, whoever had the brilliance to slip that clause into the divorce papers is an absolute mastermind, because clearly Kevin was planning to ride the Wendy gravy train straight into eternity.
But what I needed at the time, because I was running 100 miles an hour, and I was so much of a strong support structure for her and all the dreams that she wanted to accomplish, I needed somebody for me. And my new offspring, my daughter, who is a beautiful, beautiful spirit. She was not an oops baby. She was not a mistake baby.
Kevin allegedly walked away with a fat lump sum from Wendy as part of their divorce settlement, plus an alimony check worth around $250,000 every single month. Yikes. But he never stopped to think about her potentially getting sick, or that gravy train ever screeching to a sudden stop. Because the second those alimony checks quit rolling in, he was sprinting back to court searching for any way possible to force Wendy to keep funding his lifestyle. Back in 2022, he slapped down a lawsuit desperately trying to get those payments flowing again. Kevin claimed that without those checks, he was broke in every shade imaginable because he had fallen behind on all his bills and was drowning in debt and lived in some bougie community that required him to fork over payments to the homeowners association. And since he couldn't pull that off, he was staring down possible foreclosure. I mean, apparently Kevin couldn't even cover his car insurance for those luxury rides that he was so obsessed with. And he also admitted that he was seriously behind on his credit card payments without those checks hitting his account. By the time he dragged that lawsuit to court, things must have been really catastrophic because he ended up taking out loans against 2 of his luxury vehicles with some company called Flex Wealth and had absolutely no choice but to list his and Sharina's little love nest for sale because he couldn't afford to keep it running without Wendy's money. So they were basically homeless.
You left your wife. Now, we may not care about her on the show. That's different. But you left your wife. Got you a side piece. Had a baby and was living a whole different life. And evidently Wendy Williams was the real bread maker. Because now you can't live that lifestyle without that check. The grass wasn't greener, huh?
And that lawsuit definitely didn't go his way and got tossed right out of court. But honey, it didn't take him long to cook up another scheme to get that bag. In 2024, he came out claiming that Wendy had supposedly hidden over $48 million from him during their divorce proceedings and wanted their entire divorce thrown out. But the court was not on Kevin's side whatsoever, and it was absolutely insane to think he was ready to drag himself through another messy divorce process just so he could finesse more coins out of her. Earlier this year, he dropped yet another lawsuit demanding $250 million in damages against Wells Fargo, her guardian, and a whole host of other people involved in her guardianship. He swore up and down that he was doing this on Wendy's behalf, claiming that her constitutional rights got trampled on, and he had been scammed by the court-appointed guardians. So he went from dragging Wendy to dragging the people who had their hands in her bank account. Now, setting aside whatever feelings we got about Kevin for a minute, this lawsuit completely exposed just how deep the scheme went and how Wells Fargo, the judge, her guardian, and all the people surrounding her conspired together to steal everything Wendy built from the ground up. But even with Kevin's lawsuit pulling back the curtain on what was really happening in the shadows, people are still side-eyeing him hard because there's no way he's doing all of this just to protect Wendy. He's not her husband anymore. He doesn't have power of attorney, and he can't act on behalf of her son because he's not a minor anymore. So this was nothing but a money grab, and a pathetic one at that. If anything, it proves just how desperate things have gotten if he's inventing creative schemes like this to drain Wendy dry at any cost. And sources are spilling tea that it's not just Kevin's bank account that's taking a hit because of his lifestyle getting downgraded, it's also his relationship with Sharina. As the money trouble started piling up, Sharina and Kevin supposedly started getting into it over what their next move should be, because the whole reason she hooked up with Kevin in the first place was for that easy, luxurious lifestyle. At this point, even Sharina Hudson had to get off her behind and actually work. She was running her little vegan food business, which wasn't bringing in a single dollar, and she even went and got her real estate license flipping homes down in Florida. Reports are also claiming that Kevin hasn't paid a dime in child support and has no plans to until he can get his finances back to where they used to be. And when this whole situation started getting even more explosive, Sharina switched her IG to private and supposedly moved back home with her mama to get her money right. And now she's seemingly resurfaced and is going hard promoting her business and begging people to hire her as a real estate agent and hawking her gut medicine that she whipped up. She has completely transformed her aesthetic from that whole soft life fantasy to just straight up hustling her services. She's trying to keep herself and her daughter above water, and allegedly Kevin and Sharina have split up for good. However, we can't officially confirm that just yet, and watching their relationship implode like this has people screaming karma, because there's absolutely no way Sharina really believed she was going to be living lavish off another woman's hard work. I don't wish bad bad things on anyone, but Sharina basically had to accept that karma rolled back around right on schedule. I could never be comfortable shacking up with some man surviving purely on another woman's coins. That's exactly what she gets for being a straight-up vulture. What's twisted is he and his mistress actually planned on mooching off Wendy for the rest of their natural lives. What a narcissistic individual just to exploit another person like that. I don't feel sorry for him or Sharina. Now, were y'all expecting Sharina and Kevin to crash and burn already? Drop your thoughts down in the comments and make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video.